January 2007, Sacramento, California. A radio station ran a contest called Hold Your Wee for a Wee. Contestants drank water non-stop. Whoever held it longest without a bathroom break won a game console. A 28-year-old mother named Jennifer Strange drank roughly 2 gallons of water in under 3 hours. Based on coroner reports and news coverage at the time, she went home with a headache. She never woke up. Here's the one-line version of what happened to her before we unpack it. Too much water, too fast, dilutes the sodium in your blood, and that dilution makes your brain swell inside a skull it can't expand. That's the entire mechanism. Everything else in this video is just explaining how and why. Comment salt or brain below. Guess which one is more directly responsible. I'll come back to your answer twice more before this video ends. Most people assume the danger is volume alone, like your stomach just can't hold that much liquid. It's not really that. Your stomach stretches fine. The real danger happens somewhere you can't see, inside individual cells. Sodium sits dissolved in your blood and in the fluid around your cells. Its concentration controls something called osmosis. Water moves toward wherever the concentration of dissolved particles is higher, trying to balance both sides out. Your body runs this process constantly, in every organ, without you noticing. Normally, your kidneys manage this balance. They filter your blood around the clock. They decide how much water to keep and how much to send out as urine. But kidneys have a processing limit. For a healthy adult at rest, that limit is roughly 800 to 1,000 milliliters per hour. Call it a liter. That number isn't fixed. It shifts with your body size, the heat, and how active you are. Drink faster than your kidneys can clear and sustain it, and the excess doesn't just pass through. It stays in your bloodstream. It dilutes it. That's the salt answer, by the way, if you commented salt. You're half right. Keep watching for the other half. That dilution has a clinical name, hyponatremia, low sodium concentration in the blood. Here's where it turns dangerous. When your blood gets diluted enough, water moves into your cells to try to equalize the concentration, the same osmosis principle, just now working against you. Most cells tolerate some swelling fine. Muscle, skin, most organ tissue has give. Your brain doesn't. It's sealed inside a fixed container, your skull, with no room to expand. So it swells anyway. Pressure builds in a space that can't give. That's the headache. Then confusion, then seizures, then death within hours of her first symptom. That's the brain half of the answer. Sodium starts the imbalance. The brain's lack of room is what makes it lethal. This isn't one bizarre contest. It's a documented, recurring cause of death, and it shows up in 3 very different settings. Let's go through them one at a time. First, endurance sports. Marathon runners have died from this exact mechanism, not dehydration, which is what most runners actually fear. The opposite, overhydrating during a race, drinking at every aid station out of caution, while also losing sodium through sweat. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2005, tracking runners in the 2002 Boston Marathon, found that roughly 13% of finishers crossed the line with clinically low blood sodium, defined in the study as below 135 millimoles per liter. Most had no symptoms. A small number needed hospitalization. That study is a big part of why race hydration guidance changed afterward. Quick check-in. Did you assume kidneys could handle basically any amount of water, no matter how fast? Most people do. That assumption is exactly what this video is correcting.
Second, military training. The U.S. military has recorded multiple training deaths from this same mechanism, mostly during hot weather basic training, where recruits were told to drink on a fixed schedule specifically to prevent heat illness. The irony, a policy built to stop one kind of death caused a different one. Several branches have since revised those protocols toward drinking based on thirst rather than a fixed volume target. Third, medical and psychiatric cases. This one's rarer but worth knowing because it shows the mechanism isn't really about water being toxic. It's about volume and speed overwhelming a system built for neither. It's called psychogenic polydipsia, compulsive drinking driven by a psychological cause rather than actual thirst. It's most documented in a subset of patients with schizophrenia. Hospitals treating these patients monitor sodium levels closely for exactly the reason we just covered. There's one more group worth flagging specifically: infants. Babies have much smaller kidneys relative to their size and a much smaller total blood volume. The threshold for dangerous dilution is dramatically lower. That's the actual medical reason pediatric guidance warns against giving plain water to infants under 6 months. A volume that means nothing to an adult can meaningfully shift an infant's sodium balance. This isn't new, by the way. Physicians described cases resembling water intoxication in psychiatric wards as early as 1923 in a case report published by a physician named Roundtree. The sodium mechanism itself wasn't clearly understood until blood chemistry testing became routine decades later. What's changed more recently isn't the biology, it's awareness. Sports medicine specifically overhauled its guidance in the early 2000s, largely in response to the marathon research we just covered. So what's the actual takeaway? Not drink less water. Chronic, mild dehydration causes its own separate, well-documented problems, and doctors are quick to push back on any advice that says otherwise. The real fix is pacing. In extreme or prolonged cases, sodium replacement alongside water. Endurance athletes today are commonly advised to drink to thirst, not on a timer, and to use electrolyte drinks in longer events specifically to prevent the dilution we've been describing. If someone is already experiencing acute hyponatremia, treatment in a hospital involves carefully controlled sodium correction. One important caution here: correcting sodium too quickly can itself damage the brain, a condition called central pontine myelinalysis. That's exactly why hospitals follow strict, slow correction protocols instead of just reversing the imbalance as fast as possible. Here's the deeper point underneath all of this. It's not that water is secretly dangerous the way a toxin is. It's that almost nothing your body needs is safe at unlimited doses. Oxygen at high concentration for long exposure damages lung tissue. Divers and hospital patients on high-flow oxygen are monitored for exactly this. Water follows the same pattern. We just never hear that half of the message because the advice we grow up with is simply drink more. Last check-in. Did you guess salt, brain, or both? Tell me in the comments, and tell me if you'd heard of a case like Jennifer Strange's before this video. Jennifer Strange was 28. She was a mother of 3. She entered that contest, according to reports at the time, hoping to win a game console for her kids. The coroner's report listed water intoxication as the cause of death. Her case led to a wrongful death lawsuit against the radio station, and eventually changes in how contest safety was regulated in the years after. Next time someone tells you to drink more water, they're right for almost everyone, almost all the time. Dehydration remains the far more common risk day to day, but like nearly everything your body needs, there's a line where enough becomes too much. On the other side of that line, in extreme or prolonged cases, water stops being the thing that keeps you alive.